Well, I know this is the time you've been waiting for. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, our cherished viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in to your most authoritative news and current affairs program. And I'm talking about Inside Pages on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro. It's a pleasure coming your way. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Inside Pages comes your way every Saturday from 8 to 10. Here, what we do is that we look into the pages of the newspapers. We come up with what we believe is the most topical issue for the week. We invite the right guest and ask them the relevant questions for you or on your behalf. So this morning, in case you haven't heard, the New Patriotic Party caucus in Parliament has had a change in leadership. Yes. The Honorable Ose Che Mensah Bonsu is no more the majority leader. He has been asked to step down, or he has stepped down. Well, he says he stepped down solely based on his personal decision, and there's no any external factor. The Honorable Alexander Fenyomarking, the MP for Efutu, is now the new majority leader in Parliament. In fact, there's a whole reshuffle which is taking place this week. It was rumored, it was highly speculated, it has happened. Remember that weeks before this happened, we had some MPs, mainly from the Ashanti region, holding a news conference and actually stating that that which was rumored is actually not true, and that as far as they're concerned, nobody has consulted them, and so there wasn't going to be any change in the leadership of Parliament. And then the day after, we saw what happened. Now, we intend to interrogate what has happened, whether indeed the Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu was actually forced to step down. Basically, did he jump or he was pushed? So that is the question we'll be asking. What this actually means for parliamentary democracy? Remember, a similar thing happened, not exactly the same, but a similar thing happened with the Honorable Haruna Idrisu when he was a minority leader, where he woke up one day, was told that he was not the minority leader. And the conversation at the time that happened was, should it be the party that initiates these changes in Parliament, or they must leave it for the caucus in Parliament themselves to go about this reshuffling, i.e. choose who leads them? It's a conversation that has come back to the front burner. But alongside this, the Vice President, who is also the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, has also unveiled his manifesto team. Now, there was something that interestingly happened. The very day that the Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu was told that he was no more the member of parliament, he was told to either step down or he declared his intention, or actually declared that he was no more the majority leader. That very day, there was actually a letter from the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign that actually appointed him as the head of the manifesto team, or the chairman of the manifesto team. Could it be just a sheer coincidence, or this was something that was premeditated? When we come back, we'll try and interrogate that on Inside Pages. We have quite a number of persons that we intend to speak to this morning. My name once again is Awudu Moro. Stay tuned in.
Resign from his position?
Well, to me personally, I think that it is unfortunate for somebody of the caliber of Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu, who has done 28 years in Parliament, who has gone through all the structures of Parliament as a backbencher, then came as a deputy, then he was minority leader, he's now majority leader and Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, and he has chaired many other committees in the past. When I was majority leader in 2009 to 2013, January 2013, I served with him as a minority leader. So we had a lot in common, and I know his capacity, and then his industry, the hard work he puts into it, his scrutiny level, and etc. So I think that it's very unfortunate for somebody of his caliber to resign under these circumstances. I thought that if he has to leave Parliament at all, or the majority leadership at all, it must be something that will be very decent and acceptable to everybody. He might live in a very happy mood and spirit, rather than the fact that for one reason or another that I cannot say he has resigned. And it is untimely. We all have 10 months left for the elections of 2024. And then he would have guided the House, the entire House, to 2024. I'm saying he would have guided the House because Fortunately, somebody like he and myself are not contesting 2024 elections. So we will be free to prosecute matters in the chamber. Now, on their side, on the majority side, some of them lost primaries. Therefore, they are wounded now. So their attendance to the House is suspect. Some of them have been reshuffled as ministers, and then therefore they are wounded pride. Therefore, their attendance to the chamber will be suspect. But he voluntarily stepped down as an MP for Swami, and I think that he has the time, he has the experience and the integrity to be able to lead the House to the 2024 December elections. Right, so leaving midway like this is a disservice to the whole House and to Ghana.
So do you suspect that he might have been forced to take this decision?
No, not he has been forced. I don't want to speculate, okay. But I think that he thinks that it is better to resign than the circumstance that he's going through. I have been telling people since 1993 that I came to this parliament that politics has no logic. There's no logic in politics. There's no logic that, given the 28 years that this man has served with an unblemished record, he should just, within some few months to the elections, resign. There must be grave reasons for somebody of his caliber to resign. There must be grave reasons.
But he's been given an appointment, to head the
Manifesto Committee. That is an ad hoc committee. A Manifesto Committee is going to be there for another 2-3 months. They are going to prepare a manifesto for the 2024 elections. After the elections, or after they have finished preparing the manifesto, it's now left to the campaign team to be using the provisions of the manifesto to campaign. What role is he going to play after that? There are some members of parliament who could have done the same thing, but he is critical to the House.
Mr. Speaker, it was amidst the discussions that at a meeting of the caucus, which the President had requested, I tendered my resignation as Majority Leader in order to still the storm and facilitate peace and unity required for the party at this time. Mr. Speaker, that decision that I made was not within the presence of Parliament. This morning, I summoned the caucus meeting to formally announce to my colleagues that I have elected voluntarily to step down as the Majority Leader and, by that, Leader of the House. Ahead of the meeting, the National Party had been informed and invited to this meeting that happened this morning. Mr. Speaker, the Majority Caucus has, over the past few days, been conferring and consulting with the National Party to fill the vacancy created in the leadership of the caucus, especially since the Honorable Cyril Malasan, the first Deputy Majority Whip, has been nominated for ministerial position. At the caucus meeting this early morning, the caucus, by consensus, concluded that the Honorable Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markin, the Member of Parliament for Efutu, and until now the Deputy Majority Leader, should take the place of yours truly, Osechi Mensah, Member of Parliament for Swami, as the Majority Leader and Leader of the House, with immediate effect. On the part of my colleagues in the majority, I express tons of appreciation for the trust reposed in me, beginning as caucus secretary under the Venerable J.H. Mensah, Deputy Whip, Chief Whip, Deputy Majority Leader, Minority Leader for 8 years, and Majority Leader for 7 years and now 2 months. I guess this is unprecedented in the history of Ghana's parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleagues for always being there for me and for the cause of the party and government. I will entreat my colleagues to offer the same assistance and support to my successor in order to successfully prosecute the remaining agenda of government.
We clarify the situation for compliance by everybody. There is good reason that in the new standing orders, we decided to take away in the definition of the leaders, that is the majority leader and the minority leader, the two words party or parties. I should say three words: parties or parties, and rather gave the duty of designation to the caucuses, minority caucus and majority caucus, because we have had an experience. And the good people of Ghana has given us guidance in this matter. So you realize in the definition of caucus, whether it's majority caucus or minority caucus, we retained those three words, party or parties. Which meant that in the process, before the formal designation in Parliament, the party or parties involved, whether majority caucus or minority caucus, should lead the way in trying to assist in the decision as to who will now lead those caucuses on the floor of Parliament. That is what we have done, so that it is not like an imposition by any person or any group of persons. This is the path and the best way to go. Because members, as I stated earlier on, campaign and in fact come into this house on the platform of parties. And these are national parties, not sectional parties or family parties. And that national character must be shown in the leadership of the representatives in the House. And you cannot do that by giving this process to one man or a group of people. There must be deep consultation. That is the process we want to be complied with by all. But the formal declaration should be, according to our rules, by the caucus. That's why the designation is by the caucus.
Honorable Minority Leader, let me assure you that we're going to have a time of bipartisanship. I want to assure you of my commitment. The situation is, when you are playing number 5, you are the defender. You are supposed to be abrasive. But now as a striker, I cannot use that strategy. So there will be no more A at all. We are going to work together, because the happiness and the unity of this house shall materially depend on me. And I cannot afford to allow rancor to prevail. Mr. Speaker, the Venerable MP for Swami, Honorable Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, is an institution, no doubt. It's a big shoe I'm going to wear. And I recall Harun Eseku telling me that MPP is not easy to be a leader. And I know behind me are professors, doctors, lawyers, businessmen. They know it. It's going to be tough. But colleagues, I call on your cooperation. I call on your support. And I also, Mr. Speaker, invoke the support and blessing of those ascendant leaders of this house. I have assumed the leadership of this house at a time that this government is facing critical economic situation. Mr. Speaker, we've been struck with post-COVID consequences. We are having situation in Ukraine and Russia, where, Mr. Speaker, world trade is being disrupted. So no government is having it easy. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure my colleagues that together I will be committed into ensuring that we work hard to break the 8. Honorable Minority Leader, I just want to plead that in this hallowed chamber, let us do everything we can to promote democracy. Let us assure our people that we don't fight in this chamber. That in this chamber we discuss issues, we deliberate without personalizing it. I promise you that. And even as we go out there to talk to our people, let us make them understand that the essence of democracy is to discuss ideas. After all, both parties have had the opportunity to govern this country before.
All right, welcome back. We decided to play you those videos in order to set the tone for what promises to be a very interesting conversation this morning. Drama. It was a whole debacle at the Jubilee House. It was drama in Parliament and a drama at Alisa Hotel. These were the three venues where different things happened, leading or culminating into the resignation of the Majority Leader, Osei Chairman Sabons, who is also a member of Parliament for Swame. And he's no more the Majority Leader. He's resigned. Never mind, the people are asking whether he actually willingly resigned. He was forced to resign. I'm sure that by the time we're done with the conversation, you can draw your own conclusions as to exactly what happened. But yes, he's no more the Majority Leader. It's now the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Efutu constituency, Alexander Afenyo Markin. He takes over. He was his deputy. He now takes over as the Majority Leader of Parliament, and there have been all kinds of nominations that have been made. But this whole thing started a few weeks ago. It was highly rumored, it was highly speculated that there was going to be some shake-up in Parliament. But, there's some whose ears were very much on the ground. They actually knew it was going to happen. There were some who were also very dismissive of it. It was all part, we're told, of the party's decision to, the government and the party reshuffling some of his leadership and so on and so forth. Now, when you listen to what happened this week, if you listen carefully, you can actually tell that this was the decision that was taken a long time ago. And we're told by the party to bring a new phase, new energy into the parliamentary leadership of the NPP. And that's exactly what has happened. But you also know that there was a number of MPs who were not happy. Someone like the Asante Akim North, Member of Parliament, and the Apia Kubi, who said this could have been done in a much better way. He's very sad with the way the Majority Leader has been treated. This is somebody who served in Parliament for 23. He served the NPP in Parliament for 23 years. This is not how to thank him for doing that for the party. And so there's all kinds of things that's happening. But there have been quite a number of questions that have been asked. Now, if you look at the way the change was orchestrated, will the Majority Leader actually win over the love and the support, or the new Majority Leader, will he win over the love and support of his other colleague members? How much legitimacy will he get as the new Majority Leader in Parliament, and so on and so forth? And if you look at the fact that majority of the MPs who actually held a news conference this week to say that the party cannot tell them who should lead them in Parliament, that they must leave it to the Parliamentary Caucus to decide on that, most of these MPs are actually not coming back to Parliament. So check that out. Most of these MPs are not coming back to Parliament. So as far as they're concerned, they have nothing to lose. How is the NPP going to navigate all of this? How is it going to deal with this? In fact, as we speak this very minute, we're told that the 137 NPP MPs who 137 MPs have actually been asked to meet somewhere, we're told in the Eastern region. I'm still trying to get the exact location, the exact venue, to sit and talk over what has happened, because I'm sure that the leadership of the party itself senses that there's some uneasy calm within the ranks of the party in Parliament. If you look at the fact that there are some very crucial bills that the executive intends to bring, you don't want a divided front. So that's why it's extremely important for the party for them to sit and talk over matters and iron out some of the differences or some of the tension all the problems or the conflicts that have arisen as a result of the way this matter has been handled. Anyway, so let me just say that my resource person this morning is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Bawumia constituency, one of the most hard-working, very affable members of Parliament. That's Honourable Kofi Adams, who has made time off, and we really, truly appreciate that. His very, very busy schedule to join us on the Inside Pages this morning. We're grateful, sir. Thank you so very much for your time this morning, sir. Thank you. And also, I do have in the studio this morning the Mr. Ryan Salisu Kentebako, who is the NPP Austria Secretary. He's also a member of the Bawumia's Diaspora Campaign Team. He's also here with us in the studio. Honorable, thank you very much for joining us on Inside Pages. Thank you so very much. All right. And we're expecting Professor Edward Brenya. He's a lecturer, History and Political Studies Department, KNUST. Initially, the NPP had deployed Dr. Tia Kabiru Mahama to join us, but on the 11th hour, something happened. He's unable to join us. And so Dennis Miracles Abuaje, who is now the new head of communications for the Bawumia campaign team, will join us via Zoom at some point to, contribute or to share his perspective on the matters that we are looking at, the matter that we're looking at this morning on Inside Pages. So I'll also be sharing with you the WhatsApp line. Those of you who are keen to join the conversation this morning at 0249 155 646. 0249 155 646. So that's the WhatsApp line for those of you who want to join the conversation and be a part of it. That's the number 0249 155 646. What do you make of the way the changes was effected in Parliament? I'm talking about the majority caucus, and whether you think this could have been done better. How do you think this could have been done? And how do you think this is likely to impact on the work of the majority in Parliament? I'll be more than happy be glad to hear from you as far as that is concerned. Now, also remember that the Chairman Saposo, who is now the outgone majority leader, is also now the chairman of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign. Now, that announcement came the very minute that the announcement actually came that the man had resigned. And so, you can draw your own conclusions as to what that means. Anyway, so we'll kickstart our conversation shortly, because we have almost all our resource persons already seated comfortably. Professor Brenya, he works and teaches at KNUST. He's usually based in Ashanti, which fortunately for us has been in town, and so he's decided to join us in studio. Prof, it's good to see you. Good morning. How are you? Thank you so very much for joining us. So that's Professor Edward Brenya of KNUST, Senior Lecturer in History and Political Studies at KNUST. We'll also be joined by Dennis Miracles at some point. He'll join us shortly to contribute to the conversation. So I'll start with perhaps Nayana. He, of course, he's MPP. Perhaps he would have some insights that you share with us as to what exactly happened. I don't know, but, Nayana, it's good. First of all, it's good to have you here. I mean, what are you picking up by way of information as to why the party decided to do this? I mean, a few weeks ago, it was almost like it was fake news. And then just yesterday, we found out that apparently it wasn't fake news and that plans were afoot to change the leadership of your party in Parliament. Not all the MPs are happy. What other information do you have? What could have possibly informed the party's decision to do this?
Good morning, Audu,
Yes,
and good morning, Prof. Good morning, Honorable Kofi Adams. I would like to first extend my greetings to our flag bearer, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the party at large, my people in NPP Austria, the NPP Diaspora, those of the think tank Diaspora Patriotic Forum, and others.
Okay.
Audu, I think the conversation should be paying tribute to a colossus like Osei Mensa Bonsu.
Right.
I had the opportunity to go around with him at Kumeu in the just ended primaries. And the little time I spent with him, I really learned a lot. I think it is fair to have all these speculations. If you have someone... Sorry? No, the primaries. I was with him in Kumeu. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it is fair to have all these speculations and have all these taggings and all these rumors going on. I think when you look at the party today, it's a matter of handing the baton to the next generation. And where we are, the most important thing is to look at the contributions of Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu. He was first elected in 1996.
Right.
He came to Parliament in 1997. Till today, he's always won beyond 75% in his constituency. He's steered the party. You remember in 2021 what happened in Parliament?
Right.
He was able to steer the storm. You remember his deputy, he steered the storm. You remember some of our MPs coming out to say things with regards to the finance minister. He stood his grounds. And look, he served in most of the important committees of Parliament.
Right.
Talking about the business committee, the House rules. And he's the walking House rule in Parliament. And look, he went to the Commonwealth Parliament and beat the New Zealand MP.
Right.
See, so this is a person who has he learned at the feet of some of the great MPs that have come to the fourth in Parliament in the Fourth Republic. He's served since 1996 till today, from the second term Parliament till this seventh Parliament. So we should be paying tribute to him, the rules, how he manages the affairs of the minority, and today as the majority. And don't forget that, look, the NPP as a party is always looking to make an impact.
Right.
And this is one of the impacts that the party is trying to make. Osechi Mensah Bonsu, absolutely no one can shift him.
Right.
And it is okay for the outgoing MPs, those who have decided not to come. And don't forget, a lot of the MPs also lost in the primaries.
Right.
So how many of them are going to remain over there? A lot of the new generations are coming. And if he gives this few months, to teach the Honorable Afinyomakin, not to say he's also a man of his own.
Right.
This is an opportunity for him to impact the party, to be able to go around, see to it that the new ones that are coming, what are the experiences that he's going to give them? Remember, he's still the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs.
Right.
He will go around, impact the new ones coming.
In fact, the information I have, and I'm sure Honorable Kofi Adams would maybe confirm that, the information we have is that the President intends to formally inform Parliament that that portfolio, which is the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, is actually going to be cancelled. It's going to be taken out. Did you get the point I'm making? We're no more going to have Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. Right. It's just going to be Majority Leader.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's also in line with Dr. Bahumia's vision. To draw down the numbers of the...
or reduce the size of government.
To reduce the size of government. And look, this party, the president, the leaders of the party, they listen to the people.
Right.
They listen to the party people. They listen to the grassroots. And they listen to the sentiments of Ghanaians. So it is also in line.
Right.
And
But you see, here's the thing. In as much as it's okay, it's all well and good to extol the virtues of the outgoing majority leader and so on and so forth. I'm sure that the jury is out there as to whether he's done well as majority leader or not. I mean, I'm not going to, make any I'm not going to mark him on that necessarily. But I'm just saying that the fundamental question people are asking is why get him to resign, and why now? You have less than 10 months to the election. You've seen how MPs who have actually come out to say they don't like this. Never mind what appears to be the U-turn that was done almost immediately after. I mean, this is politics. Anything is possible. But if we hear, and what we're hearing is anything to go by, which is that the party thinks that there's going to be a fresh face, that the party needs going into the 2024 elections, then it begs the question, since when did the Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu's presence then becomes stale. I mean, since when did his face become stale? For which reason the party didn't even consult him before taking a decision to change, the leadership, and then he was informed that this is what the party wanted. They said, okay, if this is what you want, I'm sick and tired of the confusion, then I'm going to go. That is what actually happened at Jubilee House when the meeting happened. I can tell you that on authority.
Audu, you or all the other people who are not happy are entitled to their views.
Right.
These are speculations. You might have your sources, and your sources could also speculate. I mean, the point is, someone like Oseche Mensah Bonsu, how can you force such a person? How can you force such a person?
If you listen to the speech he made,
right,
he said, in the interest of the party,
right,
in order, and again, and listen to me carefully,
right,
attentively. He said also, in order to, stop the how do you call it? There was a word he used, but essentially trying to say that, look, there's just too much confusion. I want the confusion to end. I want the rancor to end. So I'm stepping down. So I'm resigning. So this is not a man who sounds like he actually resigned willingly. It's like I'm resigning because I don't like what is happening.
You don't expect someone like Oseche Mensah Bonsu to be pushed aside just like that. We have to make this fact clear. Look, as far back as 2023, he had made his intentions that he was not going to stand again as a member of parliament for the people of Swami.
Right.
I mean, he's an outgoing MP. What best can he do if not to hand over the baton where we are?
Right.
It is strategic. This is a man who is really very calculated. This is a man who knows what to do. This is a man that, that he has an unblemished record. He's been in parliament all this while. And who is going to push him aside? We are in a political party where speculations, a lot of these issues will be raised. This is the time that we've seen the party pushing in a new generation.
Okay.
It is in order for everyone to say this is what happened, for everyone to read meanings into his speech in parliament.
Okay.
Graciously, he handed over the baton to Honorable Afenyo Markin.
Right.
We can speculate. It is normal for someone like him to be stepping down. I mean, what would the opposition or anybody else have to say?
Okay.
We are having this conversation because of all of this. What would they have to say? Would we all have to say that, he resigned peacefully? This is normal.
Right.
In the party, we all know there's a generational shift going on. You can't push someone like Oseche Mensah Bonsu with all these speculations.
Right.
So we in the party, we know his worth. Ghana knows his worth.
Okay.
We should be paying tribute to him.
All right.
We should be looking at what he has done. We should be he's the one MP who knows the rules and the standing orders, and he teaches them.
Right.
This is where we are.
Right.
The outgoing MPs who are not happy, clearly it was a surprise to many of them. If indeed it was something that the party was being pushed, the party was pushing,
right,
a lot of these MPs will not say they are surprised.
Okay.
Look, even the opposition, they are paying tribute to him.
Okay.
He's worked diligently with them.
Right.
He's worked with them through thick and thin.
Okay.
So if he was pushed, I mean, those MPs will not come and say they were surprised.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of meetings ongoing, and you know the times that we are in.
Okay.
And he is the chairman of the Manifesto Committee. We need to give him the time for him to groom the next generation
the next couple
of
leadership. Okay.
Yes, parliamentary leaders.
Let me now come down. Let me now come to the Honorable Kofi Adams. Honorable, I mean, you are very connected. Most of these guys, I'm sorry, all the guys in Parliament are friends with you, which is in line with your nature. You like everybody. Everybody likes you too. I wouldn't believe. Did you see this coming? Did you see this major shakeup coming? Because when we heard the rumor, some people actually didn't believe it because they thought the timing wasn't favorable for such a move. But here we are. It's happened. Did you also come to a surprise, or you saw this coming?
Well, good morning to you and good morning to my fellow panelists, especially Professor Edward Bringer and Ryan Salisu. I also will use this opportunity to say a good morning to my constituents and fellow comrades across the country. And let me also, before I moved into the issues that you've raised, correct one information that you put out. It is true that members of parliament are gathering in the eastern region.
Okay.
It is also true that about 95% of those who are gathering there are from the majority group.
Okay.
But it is not their meeting.
Okay.
It is a parliamentary program.
Right.
To engage in an orientation workshop in relation to our new standing orders.
Okay.
It started last week.
Okay.
The first cohort was in Ho at the Volta Serene.
Right.
The second cohort is happening this weekend at the Rock City.
Okay.
Personally, I will be joining them also from here.
Okay.
There are quite a few number of persons from the minority group also that were not available in the last week one, who are also in Kwewu as we speak now to participate in the orientation.
Thanks for that correction.
It is not a meeting because of the crisis
in the party.
within their party and caucus.
Right.
But the truth is that there is crisis.
There's crisis.
Sure. The second one I want to also correct is that Honorable Chairman Sabonsu will be doing his 28th year by the end of this
year.
This session.
Right.
By the end of this session,
right,
or end of this term, if you want to use term, he would have been doing 28 and not 23 as indicated, because he's been in parliament since 97.
Okay.
He only mixed the first parliament because his party boycotted the 1992 parliamentary elections after they lost the presidential elections miserably to the late President, His Excellency Jerry Rawlings.
Right.
So that was why he mixed the first parliament and joined the second parliament of the Fourth Republic.
Okay. Right.
And it is true that he's been in leadership from that time till now.
Okay.
As a deputy whip, minority whip, through to chief whip, to deputy majority whip, to majority chief whip, to minority leader for 8 good years. That is 2 terms.
Right.
And then now majority leader for 7 years and some months.
Okay.
Quite experienced, a record that will be very difficult, just like the speaker's record for a member to possibly challenge in our modern system, considering what is happening.
Okay.
Chairman Sabonsu, I must say, is a very hardworking member of parliament.
Very diligent.
Very diligent. Very meticulous. Very, very, extremely. Maybe the only thing the speaker, Right Honorable Speaker Bagbin, has an advantage over him is that Speaker Bagbin has a law background.
Right.
And so when you have the law background, there are the issues of interpretation, you have some advantage. But I must say that Chairman Sabonsu is one person that you would love to listen. If you are someone who wants to learn, who wants to improve, when he's on his feet, when he's engaging, you would want to listen.
Right.
And he's also one person who, when he goes wrong and you engage, he will admit that, no, this one, maybe I got it wrong. He also has that.
I see.
And he's that leader who knows that I don't know it all, but I have material around me and resources around me to use in improving myself. So some of the things we hear him talk about and talk to on the floor or in various engagements, it's not like his own reading or his own just brains, but he uses the resources available to him, even within parliament. like persons like Lawyer Atachia, Honorable Atachia and co, are persons he rely on also to build up his warehouse of what? Knowledge and understanding of situations.
Practice.
So it's someone that, well, if you ask me, did I see it coming? No, I didn't see it coming. But I have become aware that government has been a bit uncomfortable how the majority leader has, in a way, cooperated in the private members' bill to do with the if let me call it the LGBTQ bill. He has heavily cooperated, and it's created some kind of uneasiness side of what? Government. They've not been too happy about the way and manner he has helped and supported in the processes leading to the conclusion of the various stages. What we are left now is the third reading of that bill. If our standing orders had allowed for a third reading to be done just after the second consideration, we would have done so yesterday. But it was because the standing orders did not allow that to happen. So we will have to possibly schedule it and do it on Tuesday or Wednesday and to have the third reading. So there's been some level of discomfort on the side of what government. And I will prove to you that this was out of pressure. His Honorable Chairman Sabonsu was virtually pushed out. I have had side engagement with colleagues, members of parliament on their side, who said, look, if their leader had something that they have, a quarter of what they have, maybe the caucus would have broken. But I think that he chose some level of party unity and did what it is that he did. Look, on the 20th of February, which was Tuesday, Parliament of Ghana considered a very important assignment. This is captured in our votes and proceedings of what? The Tuesday 20th. That was approved on the 21st when we sat. We accepted what we call the Committee of Selection. And the membership is made up of the Speaker, the Majority Leader, the Deputy Majority Leader, the Majority Chief Whip, one of the Deputy Whips, and other members. In the same vein, when you come to the minority side, you will have the Minority Leader, the Deputy Minority Leader, the Minority Chief Whip, a Deputy Whip, and what? 3 other members. As at that time, the Honorable Chairman Sabonsu presented himself and was accepted and approved as a member of the Committee of Selection for the rest of the tenure of this parliament.
Interesting.
If he knew that I was going to go, or he didn't intend to serve further beyond the
as
time
his
of
full
his
term,
resignation,
as to serve his full
to
term,
serve his full term, he would not have
accepted.
presented himself to be a member of this committee of what? Selection.
That makes
He would
sense.
have insisted that let's do the changes before we consider this committee, which is a critical committee that seeks to put members on various other committees. That was one. We also considered the Appointments Committee. The Appointments Committee, the Deputy Majority Leader is supposed to be the Vice Chair of the Appointments Committee. And Alexander Afenyo-Markin was the one that we approved, because we are now working according to the new standing orders that was approved on the 2nd of January 2024. So Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is the Deputy Majority Leader, and this was also done on Wednesday, the 21st, was approved as the Vice Chair of that committee to vet these current nominees, who they are telling us are the reasons for which the changes are being done on the front bench.
Then something doesn't add up.
Something doesn't. So I'm telling you that he was virtually pushed out, and it is out of that pushing that led him to take the decision that he took. So it is not something he voluntarily did. It's not something he voluntarily did. He was what? Pushed out. He was forced. And in order to bring about unity, and that's why I'm saying I respect him so much. And I am that type of person. So when I see people who put the
party interest,
the collective good,
yes, over and above
of a group,
yes,
over and above
the
personal interest, I respect a like-side person.
Okay.
But considering his service to the party, considering his service to this country, look, it's just by grace that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has become our president. They are contemporaries. They all entered parliament at the same time. Indeed, Honorable Chairman Sabonsu, because the president exited in 2008 to chase after his dream of becoming president, which he succeeded ultimately in 2016.
Yes.
Chairman Sabonsu has done more parliamentary work than even His Excellency the President. I don't think that the way he was treated, to me, was fair. A certain level of personal engagement, especially because you are in government. You see, when you are in government, you have so many things to play with as far as the majority leader is concerned. And majority leaders don't resign. None had resigned before. It has never happened.
So this is unprecedented.
So this is unprecedented. It has never happened.
Normally what happens? Normally what happens?
Normally there's a negotiations.
Well, how many of them have stood so long?
Yeah, no, but for me, it's neither here nor there. I think the longevity of the person's service does not still warrant such a thing happening. But that's what I'm saying, that you see, we're not questioning the, how do you call it, the wisdom or whatever it is, but we're just saying that it's a fact that we've never had a situation where majority leaders resign before. So this is history. Yeah, please hold on.
When the person has served even for a very long time, and in various levels, that is where the engagement for his exit is even needed the most.
Absolutely.
Because he has become more like
an
institution.
Right.
He has become an institution. That is where you will have to engage, so he doesn't exit the way he exited.
To the point where, for instance, you may even want to ask him that we want you to leave, but is there somebody you would want?
You think that
can move into your shoes?
Easily move into your shoes? Or how do you think it will go if you leave? And nobody, even not me, seated here, will say that Chairman Sabonsu is a lazy person. And if you thought adding the chair of Manifesto Committee will mean that there will be too much on the plate for him to deal with, and he will not have time to deal with manifesto issues, you are one. It means that you don't know even Chairman Sabonsu yourself. That man, that honorable member, is a workaholic. If it means sitting on a chair for 24 hours, he will sit and only get up to stretch his feet and get back to work. So that give it to him. Moreover, I am also one person who believes that the party has a role in the selection of what? Leadership of parliament.
I was going to come there. That's the second leg of our conversation. If you can please hang on.
So
that when I come back, we'll come back to that, because I want the prof to have his initial thoughts, and then I'll come back to you on that.
I am not saying all these things that I'm saying because I think that the party don't have a role.
And I disagree.
Yes, I'll tell you why. I disagree with many other persons who think that it should just be left for us to decide. And I'll tell you why I think so. And even the new standing orders that they are quoting and referencing doesn't say so.
Doesn't say so.
If you link all the interpretations together, it doesn't say so.
And I'll ask whether this is a position you've held right from the word go, or this is something that, upon reflection, you decided that, look, you think that the party must have a say, must play a critical. So I'll come back from. And I'm asking because a similar thing has happened within the minority caucus.
If you listen to Honorable Chairman Sabonsu himself,
Yes.
where he spoke yesterday, at least he introduced a bit of what was happening.
Yeah.
That in the confusion that was happening, he wanted to what? Just curtail it in a way.
Precisely.
So that was why when the president called them, he tendered in his resignation. And that resignation was not before Parliament.
Yeah.
And that he was doing so officially yesterday before what? Parliament. So himself.
And it is the reason why you're saying that when you put all of these things together,
It is quite clear
that he jumped.
That
he was pushed.
Yeah, he was pushed.
But he didn't jump.
He was pushed.
Okay,
I think there are a lot of reasons also as to the opposite of what you were saying.
What's he saying? All right, don't worry. I'll come back to you.
We'll come.
Let me now bring in Prof. Prof, I know you play in this space. You teach it. You teach political science and so on and so forth. What are your initial thoughts about how this whole thing has been handled? I mean, again, you teach in a region that is the World Bank of the NPP. I don't know what kinds of commentary, what kinds of things you've picked on the ground, but what are your initial thoughts as to how the parties handle this? All right.
Say good morning to my Vice Chancellor and the leadership of the university, and also to Otum 432, the King. Moro, I would also want to make a correction. I think I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
In the university system, our ranking,
Okay.
when you say senior lecturer, it's a position, right? It's a rank. So you move from lecturer to senior lecturer, you become an associate professor, and then you become a full professor.
Okay.
I know in the media we use it because we think, well, among the lecturers is experience, and we can say senior lecturer.
Okay.
But in the military sense, it's a sort of demotion. So
Right.
let me say that. And to come to the issue, I mean, I'm happy Honorable Kofi Adam
Giving
is
us more
here.
insights, eh?
Yes, giving us more insight because I kept asking myself the same question.
Right.
Why this time? Why him? And I need to also assess him as a political scientist. I think as a parliamentarian, he has two responsibilities. In the leadership, he has to make sure that there is a way they make sure the party's agenda is pushed, whether in as an opposition minority or in majority. And I think that if we look at how he's discharged his duties as a leader in parliament, he's done very well, which raises the question why he would be pushed out at this time. But on the other side, when we look at representation that is required of his delegates, we know very well that, yes, people might want to say that Chairman Sabonsu decided not to run again for the MPship, but we know very well going to the 2020 election, he was just lucky to have won the seat.
Right.
And of course, because it is the World Bank of the NPP, once you get elected as the candidate for the party, the constituency, definitely you are going to win, and you win with a high margin. But we know some of the issues that had occurred, especially with him, where in some situations his constituents attack him and he has to take the police to come in to rescue him and others. So down there, he wasn't doing very well in terms of representing his constituents. But
so he suffered some growing unpopularity.
Exactly, at the constituency level.
It's actually reflected in numbers. If you check the numbers from 2004 down, you can tell that the numbers keep dwindling.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, there were some who said if he had gone this time around, it would have been problematic.
Well, I think even there was an engagement in the last election.
Not for him to go.
Yes, that allowed him through. He would have probably not have gone through. But coming back to the issue of whether he was pushed out, I think looking at his experience, and especially the role that we are being told he's Ryan made chairman of Manifesto Committee, in which the vice president's spokesperson tells us that he's supposed to do engagements.
Yes.
And I was asking, if the man at his current position, where he would have been engaging a lot of members of parliament who have consequence, the constituent that you wanted to listen to.
True.
If he cannot do that now, and you think that pushing him out or ask him to step down, whatever it is the best way to get him to do it. What exactly are you looking for?
Is that also are you also then agreeing with those who said he was pushed out?
I think, yes, from the explanation.
Based on the analysis you're making.
Yes,
and then go with a school of thought that he was pushed out.
Exactly. I strongly believe that he was pushed out. I don't think it was something that was done voluntarily.
I get it.
And I don't even think that even in the process of pushing him out that there was an engagement that was satisfactory to him. And I find it very unfortunate looking at the way that he has served the party.
Okay.
And we know about controversial bills that every Ghanaian thought would not have passed.
Yeah.
He worked his way out to get them passed. The appointments of ministers, a whole lot of issues that came out. And I think he's really, really served well that the party should have, in a way,
much better.
Yes, treated him better than what it did. But as Honorable Kofi Adam and Ryan said, probably in the interest of the party, he still remains. But I believe strongly that there are issues that are yet to be told.
Yeah.
And as our political terrain has always been, I believe one day we'll get to know the facts.
Do you think that there could have been any electoral damage that the NPP would have suffered if they had allowed him to stay on as the majority leader up until the elections? I mean, is there something that you believe that NPP would have suffered?
Are you looking at
if
it?
Chairman Sabonso had stayed as majority leader? Because I don't, at the end of this, they're looking at elections 2024.
Yes.
You know, and I'm saying that from where you sit, based on your analysis, do you think it was a good idea? Never mind the fact that he was, if we're to go by what you're saying, is that he was pushed out. Do you think this rather inures politically to the advantage or electorally to the advantage of the NPP, the fact that Chairman Sabonso has now been asked to leave? Again, like you said, if given the fact that even in his backyard, his popularity appears to be dwindling, and now he's been asked to, he's been pushed out, if I want to use that. Does it give the NPP any special electoral advantage because of the sole decision that they've taken?
I don't think so. The reason why I don't think so is that, yes, people in his constituency and majority in Ashanti
won't care less.
Wanted him out. And he's out.
Yeah, they wanted him out.
Not as a majority
MP.
leader.
As an MP,
right?
Not as a majority leader.
Yes, and he's out. And I don't think that he being in parliament or living would have anything. But I don't think kicking him out would also bring any advantage to the NPP. The mere fact that he's not going to be on the ballot for 2024, I think is okay to the constituents, and is also okay to majority in Ashanti region. And looking at what is going on now, I know Ryan may not agree with me right now, in Ashanti region, I think strongly that what has happened really will not have any impact.
It will have any impact.
They don't have any impact.
If this was, say, Napo, Dr. Matthew Poku, that would have been saying something different.
Probably.
If it was, say, Dr. Duchum or John Kuma, and quite a number of them, would have been the analysis would have been different.
Yes.
But you're saying that Osei Chairman has lost a bit of his shine.
Exactly.
Politically, as far as Ashanti politics is concerned. And so perhaps all of those things could have been factored into the decision to say, well, even if we ask him to leave and he leaves, really, there wouldn't really be any consequences. Never mind that, yes, we can still put him to use because he has a wealth of experience and knowledge that the vice president can put to use and so on and so forth. But then the question that arises, and I've heard this, and I'm sure I'm going to come back to Kofi Adams on this. I've heard some people say, and that's another theory that's come out, which is to say that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would most definitely, unless something dramatic happens, but he would most definitely choose somebody from, I think all things being equal, he would choose somebody from the Ashanti region. Now, if he chooses somebody from the Ashanti region, Central region is seen as a critical region. You have the NDC who has chosen somebody from the Central region, and he gradually is becoming a stalwart in that region, if he hasn't already become. I'm talking about Dr. Kaselato Fawcett. And if you listen to the reason why the NDC actually gave, why they chose Dr. Kaselato Fawcett, they are also saying that they want to show up their numbers in the Central region. So Central region has become the game changer, or is the battleground, let me put it that way. So if we're going to go to Ashanti anyway for running mate or a vice presidential slot, why don't we then look at another region? Let's appease to another region by choosing somebody from the Central region, in addition to the fact that him, the Futu MP himself, Alexander Fenyo-Makin, We've seen how since 2004, since he became the member of parliament for the Futu constituency, has actually turned that constituency from green to blue. You know, he's turning from green to blue. It used to be an NDC stronghold, and since the MP Afenyomakin took over that position, he's made it more or less an MPP stronghold. So this is not somebody you can underestimate when it comes to Ghana politics. Never mind the fact that he's done well as he's put up a good performance as the the deputy majority leader. What do you make of that kind of political calculations? Ashanti there will take care of them anyway, so that's no problem. It's an Union Central, so that we can battle it out with the NDC in as far as Central Region is concerned. Does that make sense to you?
Moro, so yes, if we are looking at it from in terms of governing support from the regions or the constituency, yes, Afenyomakin is doing very well, and we're expecting that probably in terms of representation is going to probably, depending upon how he discharges himself as the new leader of the party, is probably going to garner more support. But my worry is when the party says, well, we want to put up a new face. And what are you saying, the new face? The new face, Afenyomakin was known to be part of whatever the worries of Ghanaians are right now when it comes to some of the policies that are passed through Parliament, which Ghanaians are not happy. It wasn't just Oseche Mensah Bonsu. They work together as a caucus. And therefore, him stepping in as the new majority, that you want to ask the question, the new face. Does the new face takes that you have to be at the forefront to be in the new face?
Yeah.
Then I also want to look at the role that Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu is asked to play, which, as Ryan said, his experience and others will help. I think it's going to do more damage to the NPP as a political party.
Oh, how?
If people have already fell out with this person in his role as the majority leader, people were expecting, especially from Ashanti region, they were expecting a lot of developmental projects would have gone on, which they think that he has not championed that. Right? And now we are saying that we are going to engage Ghanaians to ask them what they want in a new presidency. And the person who is supposed to lead this is this individual who has been the face of government policies in Parliament. Anytime the NPP government is pulling out policies, the one seen defending it. Right? And we're saying this is the person who is supposed to go and do the engagement. Bear in mind, this is not the first time that this engagement has been done. President Kufuor himself admitted to the fact that when he was coming from 2012, 2016, he said the manifesto he put up was some of the things that he got from the people when he went around touring the regions, right? They were the concern. The very thing that he said should be done. That many Ghanaians feel was not done. So how different are we going to tell the story? That we're going to do the same thing, but we are using the same person that was the face of the policies and the disappointment of Ghanaians to do this job.
But Prof, are you suggesting that the Honorable Chairman Sabonsu was expected to champion developmental projects as majority leader, is that part of his responsibilities to champion developmental projects in wherever, whether Ashanti region or wherever?
Well, we know very well that parliamentarians are not responsible for providing developmental projects.
Absolutely.
But developmental projects are projected by policy.
True.
So when the thing gets into the policy, then the constituent, the region, can then expect that they are going to get this.
And to give the person some credit.
Exactly. And if you were the leader of government business, when the government put out a policy proposal and it comes to Parliament, the leader receives it after it's been presented, it goes to the committee level. But Honorable Kofi Adam can correct me on this. Maybe what we learn is not the fact. But parliamentarians engage and do amendments, right? And as a leader, you have a level of leverage, especially in the period that you have been the majority leader and your government has been in power. And people were expecting that, given the numbers from Ashanti region and the fact that he was the majority leader, he would have pushed certain things through. That is not to say that the other part of the region do not shouldn't benefit as such. But we would have done more than what we were seeing. So if that is the disappointment of Ghanaians, and you are saying that this is the new person who has to take up that role of engaging, the question, to what extent should Ghanaians trust them? Right. I also have a question with the deputy chair, right? Honorable, the information minister, his name just ran through. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah was seen to be the face of every policy that was adopted by government. He defended them.
By virtue of his position.
Yeah, by virtue of his position.
Yes.
He goes into this media briefing, defend them and everything. And now we are saying we are going to send 2 people to do engagement.
Right.
And to be at the helm of these people who have been seen as the face of the very thing that Ghanaians are not happy about.
Which is to say that if it would not be out of order for them to hear people ask them that why are you coming back to me again? You came back to me some time back. I told you what I wanted. You've been in power for 8 years. You didn't do what I expected to do. So what are you looking for?
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah. And so that's where you're coming from.
Exactly, because it's not the first time we put out a manifesto. Many of the manifesto items were not achieved.
Okay.
And now we're having an issue with the flag bearer himself, who was the key spokesperson for the NPP.
Okay.
Many of the things that NPP said to have been doing right now was touted, delivered, promoted by the flag bearer. So there is issue of credibility with the flag bearer and what he says.
Okay.
Now the flag bearer now said that, I want different group of people to go out there and gather information, present something different. That will not to my benefit. And I'm going to send these very people who have been the face of the things that Ghanaians have not been happy with me. Ghanaians have not been happy with what parliaments do. Do you think it's problematic?
So what you're saying, if I understand you quite clearly, is that actually what the Bawumia campaign team needed was a new face.
Exactly. To show that...
a relatively innocent face.
Exactly. To show that he was... I'll give you the opportunity. But what I'm saying is that he needed... Now, Moro, the vice president had already made that statement, correct?
Yeah.
By indicating that he was a mate, right? He said he was a mate, he wasn't in the driver's seat. Now, I want to ask you this question.
Right.
If the vice president think that the ship or car or plane was going in the right direction, would he have said that he was a mate, he wasn't in the driver's seat?
So don't forget that the vice president never said that this government didn't do well.
I asked you a question.
He touted. What was he? Was he the one in charge? Should he come and say he was the president?
No, but can you answer my question? Why is he saying he was the mate?
Obviously,
if the things were going well.
Of course, the government is doing well. Did you look, Prof? He made emphatically, he stated the projects and the works that this government has done. He never shied away from the projects. He never shied away from anything of this government. He rather stated facts. The data about employment, the data about the hospitals we've built, the data about the developmental projects that this government has undertaken. He never said.
Maybe it's from my professional biases. Okay, I'm a methodologist, right? And I want to draw a logical conclusion from what you are saying. Would you say that we've done? Answer. Yes, maybe. Would you say that we've done so well, but I wasn't on the driver's seat, so now I want to do things differently? For example, this policy was passed. I am going to make sure that the policy is gotten rid of. In the midst of saying that you did so well, you are now dissociating yourself.
No.
Is that not dissociation?
No. Prof, look. The policies that he didn't agree with, everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. They tried to tag him. He was along with the e-levy and so on.
And which are some of this?
Well, I think it's public. I think it's public.
It is public.
It was against e-levy.
Yes.
This vice president, whatever project, which one has he disassociated?
I want to, because during the period, he was quiet.
It was emphatic.
That was before.
That was before he became. But he didn't.
Yeah, obviously he. Did he support
that policy?
Yes.
We never.
No.
What we heard from
he was quiet.
No. He was emphatic.
He was for it.
What we
No,
heard
no,
from
no,
the
no,
information minister
To the extent, no, but to the extent,
that
no,
he was
that's
that
fine.
He was the one.
Fair
no,
point.
let me finish. He was the one who even suggested
Yes.
that the 100 Ghana cedi threshold
Yes.
should be placed, and that
Yes.
he was the one who even suggested.
Yeah, of course.
that because according to him, the poor that they want to consider, that is how
Honorable, you
much,
should be fair
that
to
is how
him.
much they do.
Let's
So
be
you
fair to
cannot
the
come and
vice
sit and say
president.
that he
No,
was
no,
opposed
no,
to
no,
it.
no.
He said
No.
to the extent that what I heard him say is that
Right.
to the
It's a
extent
public
that
record.
it is a collective decision. It's
Decision.
a cabinet decision. He's going to go back.
Should I say no?
So his
Even
personal,
suggested-
so apparently his personal opinion then doesn't count.
I'm saying that
It
we did
doesn't
not
count,
hear- we
and
did
that's
not hear
fair.
that personal opinion out there.
But he's in the government. Should he go around?
The Peace FM audio you are referring to and the video we have seen was not when they were projecting and pushing this 11.
But he had made his views clear in cabinet.
And I'm saying that
So he
when we were
should,
pushing him
come out fighting
to
his
speak,
own government.
to state his
That's not
position,
possible.
to state
Why
his
should he do
position,
that?
What did he say?
He couldn't have come back to say.
He
And I'm
couldn't
saying
have
that
come back to.
his
Let's be fair to
spokesperson.
him.
Why shouldn't he
He's a
disagree
man
if he
who has
disagree with the
always been
policy?
consistent.
No.
He's been consistent.
Look,
He would have never become the flag bearer.
Moro,
I'm saying
Never.
that-
I
Never.
said that.
Never.
Never.
So,
I think
so
I was
he
never.
did- so he did
Because-
he did convenience.
Absolutely.
He did convenience.
Yes.
So that's good. I'm happy that you are
It's
admitting that
political-
He's a team player.
political convenience.
He's a
Politics
team
of
player.
convenience.
Thank you.
Moro,
He
so
needs
you
to
let me
be
finish
able
up.
to
In the same
benefit
vein,
of the doubt.
when he becomes the leader of the country,
He's made it
one day,
clear. He
and
didn't
he's
shy
found
away
himself
from that.
where he should speak for
For
our
himself.
country, he will choose convenience.
I'll take a short break. So, Prof, I beg you. I'm told there's a man, our director for the show is called Jesus. And so that name in itself is a very powerful name. So when he says we should go on break, I don't have any option. I beg you. We'll take a short break. It's just 2 minutes. We'll be back. Prof will land, and then Salisu will come in. Okay, so welcome back. This is Inside Pages. Inside Pages has been talking about the changes in the leadership of the NPP in Parliament and matters arising. And of course, that has, of course, it's got different legs. And so we're actually on the verge of talking about the issue with the vice president and him being a mate and a driver or whatever, being a mate and so on and so forth. There's been all kinds of conversation that's been happening before we took that break. So let me just say that the WhatsApp line is 0249 155 646. 0249 155 646. What do you make of the changes that the NPP has done in Parliament? The majority leader resigning. Do you think he was made to resign or he resigned voluntarily and willingly? I don't know how you saw it. And also, do you think this is going to impact on parliamentary work? And that's one of the things that I'll be asking the Honourable Member of Parliament for Bawumia constituency to help us appreciate how this is going to affect the work of the majority and generally in Parliament. As I did indicate, about 30 MPs who came out to organize a press conference to say that as far as they're concerned, we're not going to allow the party to come in and choose a leader for them. Honourable has very interesting views on that he will share with us. But Professor Brenya is also here with us. He is a lecturer at the KNUST's History and Political Studies Department. They hijacked his submission. So, Prof, please land, and then if you could give us your concluding remarks, and then I can go back to Salisu, and then Honourable come in with the issue of where he stands on whether it should be the party that must be initiating or the role that the party must be playing as far as changes in the caucus, whether NDC or NPP is concerned. So please go ahead.
Yes, Moro. So I do agree with what the
Salisu
role that Salisu is trying to say. It is normal in his position, but the truth of the matter is that if we juxtapose what he's saying to what the senior minister said when he was praising Bawumia for all the things.
Indeed, Anado himself was full of praises.
So we cannot say the vice president is an ordinary vice president.
Yeah.
Yes, a vice president has played a lot of role, and he's very, he has a strong role in the presidency. So I find that statement to be very unfortunate. I wish that he would have rather, after touting all the achievement, he would have rather said, well, I am going to continue and do better. Now, what it does create for him is whether he's going to be his own man. That is the problem that I have. Yes, what it does create for him is whether, in case Ghanaians give him the nod, he's going to be his own man.
Not even the reversal of the policies that the president has initiated. He intends to reverse them. You don't think that makes him his own man? He's
I
reversing e-levy, omissions tax, and so on and so forth.
We have issues.
He's reducing government size to 50.
No, my
Doesn't
problem.
that tell you that this is somebody who wants to do things?
The problem I've had is that this is not the first time we have heard this. Okay? Saying has been very easy in Ghana. Doing has been the problem.
Right.
And as far as for those of us who sit with political science lenses, as far as the thing that we have known the vice president to be saying and what we get out of them, it begs the question whether those are just an effort to get the votes or is going to walk the talk.
I get it.
And I believe strongly that if the vice president wants Ghanaians to have a different perception of him and what he would do as a president, he needs to do things differently than what he's doing, especially if you look at the composition of the campaign team. I mean, the people that he's putting around him, then you ask himself, what are you going to do differently?
That's interesting. I think we'll end there. The Prof will land there. And that, speaking of which, we would actually be showing on the screens the composition of the campaign team. There's first of all a campaign team and there's a manifesto team. Now, the campaign team, personally, I think it looks a bit convoluted. It looks a bit cluttered. It looks a bit, it's all over the place. I don't know why, because it's campaign advisor, campaign this, advisor, so on. Well, I mean, maybe, just maybe this is going to be different. But let's see how it goes. But Salisu, please give us just a few minutes, because I want to move to the campaign team, manifesto team. That's a whole conversation on its own.
Thank you. Look, on the one hand, we say the vice president is jumping out.
Right.
On the other hand, we try to associate him with the current government.
Right.
Especially the honorable member of parliament. On the one hand, we say he's part of this government and this and that. On the other hand, we are saying he's trying to jump out. But let's be fair. The fact is that Dr. Bawumia has been one of the most principled. Absolutely. The opposition like to tag him with whatever they want to tag him with. You should look at his track record. He's never, ever disassociated himself from this government or say what the government has done, he's not part of it, and so on. Let's be fair to him. Where he disagrees, obviously you don't expect him to come out all guns blazing that this or that. They go to cabinet.
Kofi Adam says he had a very fun opportunity to prove that he's going to be different. He's a man of principles, and so
even if the poll,
exactly out. I mean, even if it's going to cost him the elections, at least we're remembered for a man who's principled. That's you don't agree with that.
We don't. I mean, he himself doesn't share that view. He doesn't share that view.
But he just stated it.
No, it's just
he doesn't believe in it.
He doesn't believe in it. What I'm trying to say is that look, the vice president, he came, he said the things that this government has done, the things that he's part of. You can interpret his statement as being a mate, however you want. He comes out and he says,
"It's not an interpretation. Actually, he said it.
He said it, and that's what it's up to everyone to
interpret that
interpret it how we all want to.
Okay.
He stated what the government has done, the things that he's part of. He never stated anywhere that he's not part of this government.
But Prof then, sorry, I keep cutting. But Prof then asked you a question. Now, look,
yes.
If everything was going well, if everything was kosher, if everything was going, we were living in very good times. Prof is asking you, will this driver-mate analogy have even arisen in the first place?
And that's why I'm saying Prof can interpret the analogy. Yeah, and I'm coming to it.
Would that have come up in the first place?
No, he is interpreting it.
Okay.
It's a job that two people are doing. It's a job that many people are doing.
Yeah.
I have a role to play. The president has a role to play. My contributions is all over for people to say.
Yeah.
So if he says that, you can interpret it anyhow you want. But the fact still remains that this economy that this government inherited had challenges. They came in, they did what they did, and still doing. You cannot tell me that the myriad problems that this country has will be solved entirely by this government. This is what we are in. The achievements of this government is unmatched. The records are there.
Okay.
He spoke about Ashanti region. Ashanti region, Obviously, a lot needs to be done, but a lot has been done. He spoke, the Honorable MP spoke about Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu's, the work he's done, how he's jailed them, and so on. But on the other hand, we come saying that he was pushed. I find it very difficult.
Okay.
We can all say whatever we want, but the fact still remains that where we are today, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the bold solutions he presented, the people that Prof was saying that, are these the same people to go there? And who would answer those questions? Supposing I am sent there to go and listen to the people, what are the people going to say? Go and bring that guy who came here and said this and said that. So you don't think Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu or Honorable Nkrumah would be able to answer the questions of the people?
Okay.
You need them to go there and let the people know what this government has done, what this government didn't do, what the next government is bringing. Honorable even said that it doesn't mean that when you are the chairman of the Manifesto Committee, you are going to be the next this. It is true, but you play a very, very important role in whoever is coming. You need this experience. Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu's experience is unmatched. The Honorable touted it. We all agree. It's unmatched. You need such a person to go out there and answer the questions. There's a lot of apathy. Prof mentioned it. In the Ashanti region or in Swami, people get tired. It's obvious. But that doesn't mean that the people are not for the party. It is normal for the people to say you've stood too long. Every great thing, there has to be a transition or it comes to an end. One day, no matter what, the Honorable would hand over.
Okay.
He needs to do it in this dignified way.
Okay.
Should he come to the committee and say, I'm not going to be the chairman?
Okay.
This is a man who is very calculative.
Okay.
So what the Honorable Member of Parliament is saying, well, he can say that the Honorable Afinyomakin is part of it. He can say it.
Okay.
But those people will not come out and give out the party or give out their positions.
Okay.
It is normal. He can interpret it. They have come, they have submitted their names. But when the time came for the leadership to change, they made it out there.
Okay.
So what else should we... You can read meanings
That's
into all.
So let's now come back to the elephant in the room, as to what should be the role of the party and what should be the role of the caucus in Parliament when matters about changes in the caucus in Parliament is concerned, whether minority or majority. Where do you stand on this and why?
Well, I will do so, but you will be unfair to me if you do not allow me to comment on this whole Bawumia
matter
issue.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
Because it's quite clear from the revelations that Ryan has given us. Dr. Bawumia's entire campaign and presentation is all about convenience. So at every stage, he chose convenience over principle. Within the party, he chose convenience. That if I spoke about things that were not right at that stage, I would not get the nomination.
Right.
So I didn't speak. And because of that, I was seen as the darling boy of the party. So I have now gotten nominated. Now I need the entire country beyond the party. So let me also now choose convenience and begin to deny certain things that I am not a part of. I disagree with this. I will cancel it when I become the president. I am just mere mate and so on and so forth. And you think that we will sit and buy this? We will not buy this. We will not buy this kind of story. If he succeeded internally, he would not succeed externally. Even internally, more than 37% did not believe that he could do it. And they chose another person who has not even been a minister before. Beyond just being a member of parliament, of a constituency, Kennedy Ajapong has not served as a minister where his work goes beyond a constituency. Put aside his private businesses. You had a contest with such a person, and he gets 37+%. So it should tell you, against someone who has been the face of the party together with the president from 2007 all till now. And 8 years, almost 8 years of what? Being a vice president. And this is the situation that you come against such a person. And this was your performance. So even within the party, he knows that they don't believe, they don't trust that he can be a good leader. Okay. So it's important for me to say this. As for then moving on to this whole issue about the issue of leadership, we can't take out the party. And when I get to even the training program we are going to have on the orientation workshop, there are a few things that I will be raising there also. Because the standing orders clearly in the interpretation page define what a majority caucus is. And tells us clearly that the majority caucus means the members of the party or parties that have the largest number of seats in the House. So, party or parties is involved here. They have not taken out the party in the definition. And that is why even in our national constitution, the 1992 constitution, when you are elected as a member of parliament on the ticket of a political party, you cannot merely just think that leave the party and join another side or decide to do and expect to remain there. That is why the second deputy speaker was removed as a member of parliament, because he decided that the 2020 elections, which was a new election, he was going to go independent.
True.
He didn't say even he was dissociating with his caucus in the 7th parliament.
True.
He said he was going to go independent for the 8th parliament.
Okay.
The party wrote to parliament that he was no longer considered a member of the party, and therefore the speaker got him removed. So the few months to the end of 2020, the Honorable Andrew Esiama, our second deputy speaker, was not a member of parliament. He was removed. So the party tend to still have a certain role on the caucuses and members of what? Parliament. So you cannot completely take them.
So you are there and you're who you are because of the party?
Because of the party.
Okay.
And you have to remain as a party. In the same vein, when you are elected as independent, you cannot also choose to join a party whilst you are serving there. That was why, if you realize, Honorable the first deputy speaker, Joe Oseusu, he entered as independent.
Yes.
Together with the Nkoko MP.
Yes.
The party made some kind of arrangement and didn't organize primaries in those constituencies until a certain time, where if they announced as being candidates for the NPP, it wasn't going to affect their membership as independent members of what? Parliament. That was why Joe Wise switched from independent to becoming an MPP member of Parliament for his constituency. So all these things are quite clear. And that is why I say, if you move further, now the majority leader was then further defined as means a member of parliament designated by the majority caucus. So you don't just look at this designation by the majority caucus without linking it to the definition, the meaning of what? Majority caucus.
Oh.
You have to link the two.
I get it.
People are quoting what a majority leader means.
Yes.
And not linking it to what majority caucus also what means.
I get it. But you actually need a basic understanding of what the
majority caucus is before you come and talk about majority leader.
I get it.
So you have to understand the majority caucus before you now come and talk about majority leader.
I understand.
The previous standing orders, which we have set aside now or improved with this new one, didn't define what a majority caucus. It just defined majority leader and minority leader. And so we have now taken the trouble to separate the two. So in interpreting, don't just speak the meaning of majority leader without linking it to the meaning of what? Majority caucus. The same applies with minority caucus and minority leader.
So read the two.
Read the two
as a whole.
As a whole. Don't just pick one. Those who want to see a strong parliament are reading only one.
Yes.
That we don't want a party to have a hand in the selection of our leaders. Even when Honorable Joseph Osewusu spoke on the floor of the House after the Speaker's interpretation, he cited the youth wing and women's wing.
Yes.
That, they elect their leaders. The youth wing and women's wing don't just on their own design their own processes and elect their leaders. The party plays a significant role. The party set the processes, open the nominations, get people to file. The party vets them and make sure that you truly actually qualify. Then they set dates, do all the arrangement, supervise the elections conduct the elections under the supervision of what? Electoral Commission for delegates to go and elect.
So no party organ or unit enjoys absolute independence.
No.
There's nothing like
There's
that.
nothing like that. There's nothing
you're
like
on
that.
your own,
You are just on your own and you think that you
report to
can
party.
just report to party. No, there's nothing like that. Not the youth wing, not the women's wing, and not the parliamentary
And this
wing.
improved standing orders draws inspiration from that.
It draws inspiration from that.
I get that.
And clearly, Mr. Speaker has given that interpretation. What is lacking now is that per the new standing orders, we do not have a majority caucus.
Really?
Yes. And that was why the Speaker in 2021, he clearly used majority group. You remember when he was defining, he said, we do not have a majority party.
What's the difference?
Because the two parties are sharing 137. It is an independent who joined one side that made them a majority group and not a caucus.
If the NPP had more numbers
That would have been a majority caucus.
But they don't.
But because they do not have, per even the definition of what a majority, the caucus say party or parties. Honorable Andrew Asiama is independent, and independent is also defined. He's not even a member of a party. He is independent, and independent is also defined. It means a person who was elected to parliament not on the ticket of a political party.
Clear.
So you cannot say that he joining made it parties.
I get it.
Even these standing orders left out one thing. They should have defined majority group, which Mr. Speaker himself had stated in 2021.
Yes.
So we must find a way of introducing majority group.
Isn't it late
what
now?
We have
Isn't
now,
it late?
we are masters of our own rules.
Okay.
We can find a way
of improving
it. So what we currently have for me is majority group. Not a caucus.
I get that.
Because the one addition is not coming from a political party.
So
it's
you have
independent.
NDC
137.
And then the
NPP Caucus 137.
But once the independent
decided that he will do business with them,
the
it makes them a larger group and not a caucus.
So if the independent guy decides to do business with the NDC,
NDC would have been the majority group,
not a caucus.
Not a caucus also.
I told you, I get
not
that.
A caucus also.
Well, that makes sense.
What we have here.
Yeah. You can only attain a majority caucus position if you have the numbers on your own.
If you have,
you don't need anybody's.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
If the NPP on their own had 138, they are majority caucus.
Okay.
If they had 139, they are majority caucus.
So there's no debate.
There will be no debate.
I get
that. But here, the two parties all have. And Mr. Speaker himself in 2021, when he had cause to state what it was, used group.
I get that.
But unfortunately, in the design of the new standing orders, we did not factor that thing that occurred in the 2020 out of the 2020
just a quick
election.
one. So then, who does the ultimate responsibility lie on in deciding who becomes the leader of either the group or the caucus?
You see, the ultimate will surely be the caucus,
or the group.
but the party will have to initiate. Because take for example, the NPP on their side now. 19 said they were not contesting on their own.
Yes.
29 lost their primary. So that gave us about 40-something not coming out of 137.
That is true.
Can you imagine that the status quo stays, which is not going to happen though, and we are going to win a lot of seats? Just for telling a story. Let's say that the status quo stays.
Okay.
So about 40-something new ones are going to come in. And sometimes, even some incumbents now may lose their seats to other persons, and they too may gain some from other areas.
Absolutely.
So you have a parliament on a side that has about, say, maybe 60, 70 new persons who don't know each other. Because you are contesting elections only in your constituency. You may not know another MP in another region.
Right.
Then you win after 2024 elections, you meet on the night of what? 6 January 2025, and they say, go and elect your leaders when you don't know yourselves. The party that gave you the platform to contest knows everybody
better.
So they will be able to guide that process.
I get it.
But people speak as if we know ourselves, because over the period, those of us who have stayed there have come to know ourselves. But don't also forget that there will be instances where people are just entering parliament for the first time.
So they're not familiar with themselves.
And they are not familiar
in that
with
case,
themselves.
if we leave the process,
how are they going to go about it? So you need the presence of the party, to be able to guide that process.
So then the party only guides and recommends.
But
we may not necessarily impose.
Should not impose.
But in the case of Alex Afenyo-Markin, for instance, from what we've just seen, it was more like an imposition, wasn't it?
Well, I see it as
because I don't think there was
a beautiful imposition.
Exactly.
A beautiful
because I didn't see a
imposition.
situation where there was actually some
Look,
elections or
before
No, but the National Executive Council met.
Yeah, but that's exactly what to say that it's a bit problematic.
Majority leader spoke yesterday.
Yes.
He indicated about the meeting of his caucus.
Yes.
But even before that caucus met, 2 nights before, we knew. We knew, and I can show you evidence on my phone where the flyer had been posted on various platforms that who was going to be what. Meaning that a decision had been taken and agreed upon even before that meeting happened.
And
so
that's, that's the kind of practice you're uncomfortable with.
That's the kind of practice I'm uncomfortable with.
I get that.
But then I do know that midway substitution themselves come with their own challenges.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because if you also over play it,
yes,
it may create. So sometimes it's like a coach on the touchline. You want to substitute a player, you may not have enough time to now call the player who is on the field that, come, I want to replace you. So take note. This is the reason. You may not have much of that time. But your substitution must be strategic. If you listen to what Prof is saying,
yes,
and clearly I agree with him, that Che would have served the party better even if they had allowed him to stay within parliamentary corridors than even making him chair of what?
Manifesto Committee.
Than making him chair of Manifesto. Because look, things that makes you an excellent legislator and an excellent leader within the legislative body may not be appealing to the voter and the general follower out there.
I agree.
And I have always said that we need to get to a point where we will let the totality of the country to understand the role of a member of parliament. And if we come to understand and allow them to play that role, a lot of acts of corruption will be reduced to the barest minimum and society will be the bigger beneficiary. But because we are putting so much pressure on the member of parliament that you must be responsible for road construction, you must be responsible for schools, you must be responsible for this, you must be responsible for that. Instead of us going through important documents that come our way as members of parliament, we drop them and we are running around from one agency to the other, from one embassy to another, trying to lobby for one project or the other.
Okay.
So you don't play the role of oversight. You don't get the time to read properly the documents and ask the right questions.
What do you make of the political permutations and calculations that we hear, which may have also informed the decision to make Afenyo-Markin, which is central region is key?
One thing is clear. Look, Honorable Chairman Sabos was majority leader.
Yes.
Not too long ago, the Ashanti region was complaining, including his own constituency, about lack of recognition and lack of development.
Right.
So the mere fact of making Afenyo-Markin a majority leader for 8 months
That's
who are electing. Because if someone who had been there for all this while, his people are complaining of lack of development, how can another person who is coming in for 8 months make any difference? So for me, there should be more serious things to really talk about than this.
Well, you know things much better. Well, I find you enjoy full legitimacy, complete legitimacy.
I will say that
from your reading of parliamentary.
He's an parliamentarian.
I think it's a good material in terms of he has his own style of trying to read it, but he's going to have a lot of.
He will struggle.
He will have a lot of difficulties in having. Look, some of the even easier things that would easily have passed. I am sure if they come now, there will be a lot of difficulties. And for the challenging ones that they succeeded in pushing through, there's no way the composition as they have it now, even just the majority group, will succeed in pushing many things. Okay. It's going to be tough.
Good morning. Really my name is Jesse. Please, I want to ask if Professor Brenya is speaking as a political science lecturer or as a politician who is noted to be blah, blah, blah. He says, to make this fair in the analysis of the issue on board, it seems Prof. biases like taking over his genuine analysis. I think the combination of the panelists is 2-1, in which the NPP has only one representative. I don't think so. Prof, if you've followed Prof for a very long time, he's been very objective in his analysis. You may have your own issues with, maybe he's been passionate about an issue, but he's not somebody you can say is biased. Look, everybody votes. Everybody has some political party or that they support. But when it comes, look, most of the guys we speak to that from academia, we know where they belong. Don't get me wrong. Almost all the guys we speak to from academia, we know where they belong. But we judge them based on output, not necessarily where we think they belong. So I think we should.
Is to understand when someone from the intellectual community is speaking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the problem we have as a country. We have cowed a number of them who get cowed from speaking by this kind of attacks.
Yeah, I get it.
And it doesn't help.
It doesn't
our
at
country.
all. More, the truth is only one, and the truth is only one and better. Liars keep on manufacturing lies upon lies, and to substantiate the early lies and at the end, karma law will stare you in the face. And this one says, Dr. Bawumia, are you really serious? His Excellency. Okay, this one is from Evans Dinko in Garu. My humble answer to Dr. Bawumia's question: what new idea has John Mama brought? Okay, so that's a long diatribe. I don't think I have time to read all of that. As an African, you travel to Israel to pray. Oh, okay. Right. Now, this one says, Moro, good morning. Okay, so from Kweku Richie, Abdel Fattah Tamale, I've also seen your message, a positive change. Something for good morning. My name is Francis from Tema. Alan and Bawumia sat in cabinet meeting of NPP government and destroyed the Ghana economy. So value is the same. One is a two, continue ruling Ghana, blah, blah, blah. That's coming from Mohammed. You said, okay, you didn't add your name, so I'm unable to read it. Now, let me just quickly do this and get my panelists just a minute each so we can go. It's a good morning. I'm Jesse. Okay, this Jesse guy is all over the place. Alasan Sisi from Zenu Central says, why is it that the NPP have to let Chairman Sabos resign before they confirm his running mate nomination to partner Bawumia? The resignation of Chairman Sabos is just a political gimmick. The NPP are playing with Ghanaians. The man is a running mate is to Bawumia. Master Planner Junior Kintampo says, greetings to all your panel members, especially my boss and lecturer, Professor Edward Brenya, for his in-depth analysis. I enjoy listening to him, but I disagree with him on the issue of Chairman Sabos. There has been some engagement, and he was not forced out. We, the NPP, don't force to impose leadership on followers like the NDC did to Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka. Dr. Bawumia, Beba, inshallah, Master Planner Junior Kintampo. Ahmed Inima says, good morning to all your panelists. It's been a good discussion, but I would say 10 months is a good time that a sector minister could use to turn the ministry around. For those of you saying the time was short and that there was nothing that the new appointment made by the president would not inure to any benefit, some of us beg to differ. It's actually you beg to differ, not bet. I wish them maybe the best of luck, Ahmed. This one's a good morning. Please, Brian, what is the difference between an assistant driver and a driver? Your brother Charlie from Dakoman. Okay, Charlie, your friend, he says it's called Charlie. Anyway, so we have just 3 minutes. In fact, we have just 2 minutes to wrap up. As for Honorable, he says it's done. So I'll share the 2 minutes. I'll share the 2 minutes between Prof and Salisu. One minute. Yes, 1 minute. Bro, so in that, what are you saying?
Yeah, Muru. So
I was just asking whether Alex Afenyomarkin King would he struggle to get full legitimacy with what the way thing, or knowing the way he does his things, he'll be able to survive.
Yeah, just as Honorable was saying, I was looking at how he was going to deal with his colleagues.
Okay.
given that some are not happy with the way things turn out. I think, yes, he's been there, he's been working with them. He needs to do extra, right? Knowing very well that some of the things we didn't know about the former majority leader and the way he goes about the thing, he needs to learn a lot from him. He always has to, if you will, be going to him for advice and getting him to play some of the role that would be difficult. But for now, I don't think things are going to be easy especially on issues that are controversial.
Okay. Salisu, in conclusion. Okay. Oh, sorry, your microphone. You said, so start all right.
Yeah. So just a little correction in terms of who elects or who chooses the party's parliamentary leader.
Right.
In Article 14 of the party's constitution, Clause 5 states that it is the national elections.
National Council.
The
It's the National Council. Okay.
The National Council elects.
Is it the same one when NDC is?
No. We don't have it explicitly stated
in the party's constitution.
So we have a practice where the party leadership, that's at the FEC level, determines always.
Right. Okay.
Even when I was there in the 7th, in the 5th, 6th parliament, that was how we did it all the way through.
You think it's okay? So that it's fine.
Well, I think it's okay.
It's
not everything that we need to legislate on.
Okay.
So for us, we've legislated it, and it's the
it's
national,
it's
the
really
national
helpful.
council that
Well,
elects,
with the new
that
standing
chooses.
orders now, you have to change that national council.
We'll cross that bridge for sure. So when you introduce this, we will adapt. We've been doing this, but just the last one.
Sure.
I think just 10 seconds. I think we still need to let everyone know that the vice president is really the one who's been in charge of the many flagship projects.
Okay.
A lot of the flagship projects, like in terms of the digitalization and so on. And he's going to be a chief driver when
since when the digitalization became a flagship program.
Let me say. So this is what we draw the curtain on today's edition of Inside Pages. I want to say a big thanks to Ryan Salisu Kente Bako. He's the NPP Austria Secretary, member, Bawumia's Diaspora Campaign Team. I also say a big thanks to Professor Edward Brenya, Lecturer, History and Political Studies Department, KNUST. We sincerely apologize, Dr. Tia Kabiru couldn't join us. There was a last-minute change in plans, and so he couldn't join us. We sincerely apologize for that. Dennis also couldn't join us. We sincerely apologize for that. The Honorable Kofi Adams is a member of Parliament, affable, hardworking, diligent member of Parliament for the Bawumia constituency. I want to thank you very much for your time. But before I go, just a quick one, Jesus. I want to say a happy birthday to my old man, my dad. He celebrated his 66th birthday yesterday. Alhaji Suleiman Zakari of Fadama. I want to say a happy birthday to you. You've been an amazing father, and I wish you all the best. And it is my hope and prayer that you at least talk 100 years before you leave this earth. Yes.
Taking care of this troublesome.
So it's a happy birthday dedication from everybody here. Yeah, you know he's a very strong man. Yeah. He probably would add a third wife at 66. Yes. Oh, that one, I don't underestimate him. Bye bye. Have a good day.